Hey guys, welcome to Oddcast, a Four Nerds by Nerds show. It's me, Joe, Paige, and CN, and today we're going to be talking about the Batman.
That's not how he says it.
No, he says vengeance.
Sorry. On my planet, the bat symbol actually means vengeance.
Anyways, all right. So let's give a quick spoiler-free what we thought about the Batman.
So I thought it was pretty good. I would say that it gets an 8, and the only critique that I really have in a non-spoilery way is it was a little on the too long side.
I mean, 3 hours, yeah.
But don't get me wrong, if it's worth it, if it's completely engaging the whole time, like I'll watch the extended Lord of the Rings trilogy over and over and over again. That's 12 hours, and I will eat up every second. But this one, yeah, towards the last act, it did drag just a little. I was like, come on, are we there yet? Let's go. Is this nope, it's not. Is it? Nope, it's still not. Okay. But I did like it. I think I would give it a 7 and no. I'm between a 7.5 and an 8, so somewhere in there. I don't know if it quite reached an 8 for me though.
I was the last one to see it, but I liked it. I'm just 6.5 for me. Closer to 7, but 6.5.
Yeah, I'm closer to 7.5.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still enjoyed it.
I have my reasons, and we're gonna go over that.
Yeah.
But before we actually do, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and that notification bell's there for you. That way you'll be up to date on whenever we do more reviews and more shenanigan type things that we decide that we want to do. Anyways, so
spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. It's happening now.
Yeah.
Okay. So why didn't you like it so much?
There's a lot about it that I wasn't 100% like happy
Ready?
with.
I'm gonna say attention span.
It was long, yes, but I think for me it was okay. So there's a couple things I didn't like. I was not a fan of the Riddler's costume. Was not a fan.
I mean,
I
it was
understand
still
they were
better.
trying to do something different, but like.
So they're going for such realism in this movie, or going forward, I guess, in what DC has going, but
Yeah.
So they couldn't make it as comical or as comic-y.
They didn't have to do the Jim Carrey Riddler costume,
which was intense.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, that was very much akin to
I
the
thought that
Adam
Jim
West.
Carrey was an excellent Joker.
We went over that, yes,
Yeah.
yes. But they could have done something. Like, they kept the green, yes. But, like, the mask was a little off. I didn't mind the glasses, of course.
I mean, he was supposed to be creepy.
Yeah, well, so this is...
And he succeeded. That actor,
Yeah.
oh my god, in that scene in Arkham, holy shit.
Yeah.
So the thing that I liked about the Riddler is the same that I didn't like about the Riddler. I agree. Very dull coloration, but I mean, I get it. I mean, Batman universe, sure, make it shades of gray or whatever.
Yeah.
But I did like how much they brought in the reality of the conspiracy style world that we live in
Oh, yes.
into the movie through
Yeah.
the Riddler.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
I did not like how the Riddler wasn't necessarily smarter than everybody or like had an axe to grind. It was like part of the thing that I didn't get was why.
Why he decided to do what he did.
Yeah, I was like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
No, they go over that.
They do, but not in a sense that I was satisfied with why he was doing it. I was like, his motivations just seemed weird. Like,
So it wasn't enough that he was raised in a broken system and always overlooked over the people who were taking advantage of the money that was supposed to support the system. So
Yeah, but
that didn't make sense
to
to
the
you?
I
point
understood
of
that, but to
violence or of murder.
Not even to the
Okay,
point of violence.
no, he was crazy as fuck. Like, that's the extra reason.
Right, but I'm saying that, like, he was going against people who he obviously had the means to dig in and do his own kind of crime solving. But then instead of, like, exposing it, which is what he'd started to do, he turned from, like, I'm going to expose it to, I'm going to kill people who aren't necessarily involved in that part of it, even though I could easily figure out that they weren't.
That's what happens when you're crazy.
I was okay with it up until the sins of the father line. Him going after Bruce made no sense to me.
Well, it's because he equated Bruce to how he could.
Now, granted,
because
he knew that Bruce was Batman from the jump.
No, he didn't.
There's no confirmation.
There
that
is,
he
yeah,
did.
there was no confirmation because then in Arkham he thought that he had called him out, that he was about to call Bruce out for being the Batman, and he didn't. But no, I think the reason why is because Bruce was also an orphan. They were almost equal except for by their name, except for by their fathers.
Correct.
So that's how he had equated it. So that's why he was going to punish Bruce, because he got the life or got all these privileges that he did not because of who his father was, quote unquote. So I feel like the storytelling of that aspect was justified. I guess they don't go into just how crazy he was. I mean, there's several different types of crazy, obviously. We don't know exactly, but that's why he's in Arkham. So it's gonna... and since, at the end, the Joker is there, I'm sure we'll find out more when they work together, so...
Yeah, I'm gonna dive into that
I know.
in a couple minutes.
I know.
So, other things as far as costuming goes, Catwoman was great, but I did not like her mask.
I felt several ways about Catwoman.
Like, I get that it's kind of half her origin story, because she wasn't, she was just a cat burglar, but, isn't, I don't know, it was weird. I didn't like her mask.
I have to agree. I thought it was a little odd. I thought it was cute that the little skull cap had little cat ears in it, which was...
To me, that made sense. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
so at home she had, a beanie that had
Little
cat ears on it,
yeah.
and she cut a hole so she could see through it. But I was like, she's got a half costume mostly, and then she's like, I've got this ski mask.
Well,
And I'm like,
okay, but no, she's obviously, so where she lives, she's not rich. She doesn't have the type of resources to have all this cool ass costume that fucking Bruce has as a billionaire. So she put this amalgamation together, but I actually didn't.
I'm actually going to dive into Bruce's costume.
I didn't really like her version of Catwoman all that much, actually. I didn't hate it. Obviously it was much better than Halle Berry.
I liked her Selena Kyle. And I did technically like her as Catwoman. I just had an issue with her costume. Or not her costume, just her headgear.
She was okay.
Yeah.
She was alright, in my opinion.
But Batman's costume, I have problems with that costume.
Go ahead. There were no nipples, so at least there's that.
Yeah, at least there was that. Now, some of the gadgets I thought were cool, but the issue that I had was the bulletproofness of that suit. That suit was way too bulletproof. He took 2 full-round semi-automatic shots to the chest without any kind of recoil. He walked into it. And they just bounced off with... And then he took a shotgun blast at point-blank range. Now, even all the other Batmans, unless he's in some sort of tech suit, he would not have walked away from that shot.
well, but they also have him doped up on Venom.
Towards the end. Towards the end.
No, that was an extra boost of it. We don't know how doped up he is.
No, he was doped up on Venom. And we're going to get into that whole
oh, shit.
Potential.
It's not
potential. I think it legit is Bane's Venom.
I did not put those pieces together that was Bane's
It was
Venom.
green.
And you know what?
It was green.
It was 100%
that was 100% Bane's Venom.
Oh my god.
They tied in a bunch of other characters into the movie. I was like, Bane's established, so when he shows up, I get it. Except he'll probably be an intelligent Bane as opposed to zombie Bane.
Fuck zombie Bane, man.
Yeah, no. But no, I think that his suit was just way too for it to be the low rent Batman, because that's how it looked at, especially with the bat with the
low rent Batman.
Yeah, low rent Batman. Not his origin, but he's
So
been in it for a year or two.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. I do appreciate that these Batman movies are now making the same leap that Marvel has decided, which is
doing origin
we
stories.
don't need an origin story. We know it. His parents died. You can tell us in a quick flashback of 2 minutes.
Yep.
You don't need to do here's the start of our character, and now he's discovered that he wants to fight crime. No, we don't need it.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to do a world-traveling Bruce where he learns street magic and a bunch of other shit, I'm not interested.
I mean, that's what we had the Batman Begins for. It's fine.
But I can see that. It's a little bit over the top, but I think you kind of have to make them over the top so that when you get villains who are obviously a lot more powerful, that it makes more sense.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All he's doing right now is fighting street-level crime, which I'm totally okay with in a first Batman movie.
Mm-hmm.
Go with people who are lower on the level. The Penguin seemed like a weird pick, but I was
Speaking
like,
of Penguin, I did not realize it until I saw a behind the scenes. That was Colin
I
Farrell.
know.
I did not realize that. I was like, Wait, what?
I'm pissed about that.
I thought it was great though. Like, I totally did not know that was Colin.
My favorite is that there's a meme where it's like, can you imagine being the director who spends this much money to make Colin Farrell look like shit? I can never think of that actor's name. He always plays the schmoozer guy. I'm gonna put a picture of him right here, but and he's always like, but it's true. The guy looks just like the way that Colin Farrell's Penguin looks. I was like, that is crazy. I really like the fact that Alfred in this one has kind of like a hidden background, which is more akin to the Alfred that I'm familiar with. Like, there's something extra going on there, and Andy Serkis does such a great job with it.
That's because he's an amazing actor.
Yeah, I think they kind of did the whole thing to where it looks like Alfred trained him as far as fighting and whatnot. I think they kind of did that whole dynamic of Alfred.
He also raised him. They made that very clear, as well as his rebellious "You're not my dad" thing, like that. That was a little much, but.
Do you want Uncle Ben to get shot? Because that's how Uncle Ben gets shot.
Or blown up.
Alfred did get blown up, so you know.
Yeah. No, I did not necessarily like the whole emo Batman. The whole emo Bruce Wayne.
So I want to throw this out here. The one character that I love from DC that hasn't been in a movie is Bruce Wayne. We have not had Bruce Wayne in a Batman project or movie since George Clooney. I said what I said. Come for me. He's the best Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne, he was the shittiest Batman.
Keaton. Yeah.
I liked him as Bruce Wayne.
They're too removed. Like, to me, Bruce has always been like the other part of Batman. Batman is out there serving up justice, serving up vengeance.
Yeah.
But Bruce Wayne is out there serving up hope and being like, he's out there donating money to causes and researching cures and doing what, the epitome of an actual good guy, rich guy is doing.
So I think that the Batman sets it up for that because he realized, I think that what the Riddler had done, what he showed how that foundation wasn't working, I think that this showed how disconnected Bruce had become from the populace.
Yeah.
So now in the next one, I feel like he's going to be much more involved and we're going to get much more Bruce than we have in previous iterations.
And you know what? That kind of makes sense. I can totally see a storyline where, if they're going to do a Batman storyline, I can totally see a storyline where, like, okay, Batman is fueled by anger. So
vengeance.
That, for vengeance, right. So that's going to be his start. Yes. That's going to be his start. And then, aside from Alfred and then other people in his life, are basically going to get him to realize that he needs to do other things in order, if he wants to help Gotham, great. But Batman's cool, but you also need to be Bruce Wayne because...
And that's why I think that the next one, it set it up for that, because he was still... Vengeance, obviously, is not the healthiest emotion that you could have. So I feel like in him dealing with this, he's going to be in a healthier place to realize how much Gotham needs more than just the Batman. They also need Bruce Wayne. So
I don't know. I mean, Dark Knight Rises also set up that same chain, only for him to then become, I'm glad that nobody in Gotham is an actual detective in that trilogy of films, because
for real,
Batman vanishes, and then Bruce Wayne vanishes, and then Bruce Wayne comes back, and Batman were there just no detectives in Gotham City?
No, I really don't think that there were.
I mean, it's kind of the whole Superman, Clark Kent duality.
I miss Clark Kent also. So if somebody could write a Clark Kent for me, I'm totally on board with that too. And then I want to say this.
It was in Smallville. That was where it was.
Was he?
Yes.
Hush your face. He was in Smallville.
He was very much Clark Kent.
Do not come at me, bro. Don't.
Yeah.
You know what? Barely Superman. He was a blur.
Do you know what was
he was
missing?
A blur.
Yeah.
He was...
Clark Kent might have been in Smallville. You know who wasn't? Superman.
Well, it's because it was Smallville.
But Doomsday was there.
It was about becoming... Okay,
That's
okay.
True. The Flash was there. Aquaman
we are
was
not
there.
Getting in a fight about Smallville. That can be a whole
Zod
other episode.
Was there.
No.
Brainiac was there.
Zod wasn't there.
Stop. Zod was there. Fuck you both. Okay.
Was he there or was Lex there?
I can't with y'all. Nah. We'll have a whole different thing about that.
We will.
So,
I'm totally willing to go down that path, but I do want to throw this out there. I'm going to say something that is Can I be controversial for a second?
Yes, you
dear
can be
God.
controversial.
All
Can I be
right.
controversial for a second?
Yes, go
Just
for
do
it.
it.
Batman has other villains that aren't the Joker.
It's very true.
He's just
He
the
doesn't
Joker's the
need
most
to-
popular.
I know he's the most popular, but he doesn't need to be in every incarnation right out the jump. Like, Batman Begins, set up the Joker. The Batman has now set up the Joker.
Okay.
Even down to there's 5 minutes of the Joker online right now that you can watch as an extended clip, a deleted scene, and I don't like the way he looks.
I don't like
So
the way they do
if you have, it's like saying you can't have the Batman without the Joker, like you can't have Superman without Lex Luthor. He's his nemesis, his ultimate. So I mean, I guess I get it, but
All right, let me ask you a question. Could you see Mark Hamill playing it in a serious Joker film, in a serious Batman film as
No,
the Joker?
not at this point.
yeah, I don't want him.
No.
I
No.
loved Mark Hamill.
Do you know who I can see doing it?
I already know who you're gonna say. Willem Dafoe.
No.
Who?
Alan Tudyk.
Oh,
He does a great job on Harley Quinn as the
He-
Joker.
he
All right,
does.
all right,
I think
all
he would
right.
be great.
He does.
He's a
Alan Tudyk.
great actor.
He's a fantastic actor.
He really
Shout
The
is.
out
only
to you,
problem
sir.
is he can't do it. At least none of DC wants to have any kind of continuity because he's already my favorite DC villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Mr.
true.
Nobody.
Mr.
He
Nobody.
couldn't
And
do
on
it.
Doomsday, Doom Patrol. But no. Yeah. No.
So the question really becomes, where do we go from here for
Yeah.
the Batman? I mean, I liked it. Like I said, I gave it an 8. I know they gave it less. That's fine. But I think that it'll be interesting to see where they go. I'd love to see Bruce Wayne. I think Catwoman's definitely not done.
We made that clear.
Yeah, if DC can figure out their continuity so that I can mix and match things, I think that'd be great because I think that Zoe Kravitz did great, and I would love to see her versus
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
I think the two of them would play really well as a dynamic with one another.
You know, that reminds me too. I'm going to say this real quick. I don't necessarily understand what Warner Brothers / DC's doing
I don't think they know either. So
because you have two Batmans now. Not obviously it's not the DCEU, but you have two Batmans within the same 2 years, 3 years.
Well, they're gonna try and
and on top of that, Affleck is back as Batman.
well, and then they have the Suicide Squad, and then they have the Birds of Prey, and then we have whatever
So,
the Justice League is happening.
I think the best idea for DC is to just do all the projects separate. Either mix them all or don't mix them at all. But choose a path.
You know, and I don't think they've found or they've realized exactly how they're going to do that yet. I think they're still juggling
We're gonna
things.
find out when Flashpoint comes, or the Flash. It's Flashpoint. We know it's
Everybody knows it, especially since Keaton is back. I wonder if they're going to give him the whole body turn, head cowl thing.
maybe.
Or you think they're going to modify it so you can turn his head?
I don't think so. I think that
That's
they're gonna
a-
make sure he's got to still tilt.
Give us some nostalgia. That's
Yeah,
fine.
give us a little business.
What did y'all think of the Batman?
Yeah.
What did you guys rate it? Are you happy that we finally got a detective Batman movie? Because
That's
I
very
know
true.
I was.
Yeah.
It was the detective Batman movie we've all been waiting for, at least in that sense. So let us know in the comments what you thought. And I guess we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Same odd time, same odd channel.
Oh, jeez.
Bye, guys.